Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for tuning in for another edition of Truthbuster News. I am TJ, your host of Truthbuster News, the originator and creator of this channel and my ventures of creating an outlet so that you can know the truth of what is really going on. Today is Monday, October 16th, 2017. And I'm coming before you to give you more insight and more truth and more facts to what is unraveling and will unravel. So, as all of us are pretty much aware, the continuing change in the timeline of the Mandalay Bay false flag event that occurred, what's it, 2 weeks now? Almost 2 weeks. The timeline has been changed constantly by the deep state and the shadow government. Especially given the fact that there is one of their operatives on location in Las Vegas ensuring that you do not know the truth. Now, I have seen the press conferences from Sheriff Lombardo, and his demeanor has drastically changed. In such a fashion to where he is quite noticeably gripping for something to hang on to keep his sanity. In the conferences he's held, when the event first occurred, he would have the first set of press conferences throughout the first week. He seemed solid. But when situations arose that gave him the feeling of insecurity of what he shouldn't say, the FBI was right behind him, saying, don't go there. One incident in particular, when the question was arose by a reporter about Paddock's car, you could hear the FBI, the agent right behind him, saying, don't go there, twice. So it's clearly evident that the FBI is in full charge and in full swing of this operation. And with them in charge, the public will never know the truth, because their laundry list of corruption is extremely deep and thick. I'm kind of sure that if someone divulged into taking the time throughout the FBI's history, every piece of corruption that they have been involved in, from covering up cases to taking bribes to money laundering, the list goes on and on, it'll probably fill up a good size in a public library, depending where you live and depending on the size of the building. I mean, need we be reminded of how corrupt the FBI are? Here's a perfect example. Now, I live in Portland, Oregon, but I'm not from here. And I've lived here for quite some years. And back in 2010, around the middle of end of November, and Portland does it every year. They do what you call a Christmas tree ceremony. They'll get a 50 plus footer Douglas fir and decorate it and raise it up downtown so that the public here can enjoy it and feel festive around the holiday Christmas shopping time and spirit. Back during that year, there was an incident with I think he was Sudan or something like that, but he was Middle Eastern, or Muslim to say the least. He wanted to, and he didn't necessarily want to. He was coerced and given directives, plans, materials on how to build a bomb. And the event was thwarted by the FBI when it was supposed to be the day they were supposed to be detonated. Now, here's the key point. This aired the local news there, and Fox 12 KPTV ran with the story, and they stayed on top of it for pretty much a week through the developments of the story. But I remember one nightly news broadcast, they were talking about the case, and the reporter probably slipped up, but he said during the broadcast that the FBI gave the bomber fake materials, fake plans. Well, the plans were real, but fake materials and how to make the bomb, and it was a fake bomb to entrap the guy. But throughout the case, the suspect did turn out to be a member of a terrorist organization. So the FBI recruited this guy, gave him everything he needed, when, where, and how to do it, and what time to do it. And right before he was going to detonate it, they swore him in to be the hero. Now that's what you call another version of a patsy, and it's continued throughout time. There's case after case after case. We probably all remember the underwear bomber that was in New York for some years back. He was escorted by FBI agents, given a passport, given a fake visa, fake documentation to carry out his attacks. But I'm going to take us back just one step further to 9/11. Now, there was a program that came out shortly after 9/11. It was pretty much a documentary. And in the content of the film, I remember the name of it. I might have it at home. I think it was Flight 93. I think it was Flight 93. But in that film, there is a clip of actors who were in the script FBI agents, and they had received intel from the Middle East. And this is a script in the film that contacts over there were trying to let the FBI, the CIA, the NSA know 6 months prior to the attack. But it was all brushed aside. It was incredible evidence. It wasn't substantial. It wasn't supporting it. Everything you could think of. It was hearsay. But see, they knew about it. Yeah, it might have been a Hollywood production. And we know how the deep state and the shadow government runs Hollywood. But that right there is another clear indicator how corrupt, just a sliver of how corrupt the FBI is and all the federal alphabet gangs. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, what is the relevance to the Mandalay shooting? There's a lot. It speaks volumes. I have an article here from Blacklisted News titled, FBI hand in hand with Vegas PD begin damage control. There is no conspiracy. Nobody is attempting to hide anything. And this is sourced from Zero Hedge. Sheriff Joe Lombardo of the LVPD appeared to be visibly shaken when told reporters Friday, the 13th, that he was attempting to be subversive in previous statements. He made surrounding details of the October 1st massacre at the Route 91 Music Festival where 58 people lost their lives. As IntelliHub details in the No Questions conference, which members of the independent media were not allowed to attend, the sheriff said that he's well aware of the timeline dispute released by MGM management on Thursday, which claims that Stephen Paddock fired his weapon into the crowd just seconds after Mandalay Bay security guard Jesus Campo was struck by a bullet in the 32nd floor hallway of the shooter's end suite. But the sheriff stuck to his guns on Friday when he told reporters that he still stands by his latest timeline, which lists Campos' encounter with Paddock at 9:59 p.m., 6 minutes prior to Paddock's first known volley of fully automatic gunfire. The visibly nervous sheriff also made clear that there is no conspiracy between the FBI, LVMPD, or the MGM, and that nobody is attempting to hide anything. That's utter bullshit. In reference to the investigation and noted his solidarity with the FBI. We are standing hand in hand with the FBI in the continuance of this investigation, the sheriff explained. I feel confident there are no other individuals that are intending to cause harm to our community associated with the October 1st event, end quote. Sheriff Lombardo also provided an explanation for changes he recently made to the publicly released timeline surrounding Paddock's arrival to Vegas and his check-in date at the Mandalay Bay. We have come to learn that the suspect did not occupy the room on the 25th, and that the situation on how the room was compensated or paid for had changed on the 28th to include Mayor Lou Danley, he explained. Additionally, the sheriff told reporters that so far there has been only a visual inspection done of Paddock's brain, and said that Paddock's brain was shipped to a facility that will conduct a microscopic analysis of the brain to see if there were any signs of mental illness. As of yet, authorities admit they still have no motive for Paddock's crimes and maintain that he has no affiliation with any groups. At one point, a reporter tried to sneak in a question, but was quickly swatted down by Lombardo over the podium mic. This fiasco comes after the early chaos surrounding the sudden disappearance of Mandalay Bay security guard Jesus Campos, who was shot in the leg by Stephen Paddock, allegedly. Now the next portion is authored by Max Slavo via shcplan.com. Over the last few days, the Las Vegas law enforcement officials have significantly altered their timeline of the mass shooting that left 59 dead and hundreds wounded. Adding further intrigue is the fact that Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino now says that they have their own timeline of events which diverge from the official story. On top of that mystery still surrounds Mandalay Bay security guard Jesus Campos, who was shot in the leg when Paddock opened fire and released some 200 rounds through the door of his hotel room. Now, Mandalay Bay security guard Stephen Paddock, this is from Fox News, shot by Paddock in the moments leading up to the worst mass shooting in modern U.S. history, was set to break the silence Thursday night with 5 TV interviews, including one on Fox. Fox News, and of course, the president said. So, and you can find the rest of the article on blacklistednews.com. Concerning Campo, they say that he was in the room 6 minutes prior to the shooting to collaborate with the timeline change. And there's still quite a bit of mystery surrounding his disappearance. Now, there's speculation out there that says that Campos might have been the actual one doing the shooting. Now, like I said, it's just speculation. There's no proof. There is no hardline evidence. People are out there on the job, and I give them a lot of props for being out there, putting their life on the line, because that was a dangerous risk. If I could be out there, I would be. But I don't have the resources, the fundability, the transportation, the equipment. And or the time. But I wish I did. I wish I could go out there to Vegas and be one of those being on the front line, getting to the bottom of the truth. And hopefully one day I get the opportunity to be on the front lines where an event took place and it's covered up. But with the FBI in charge and the corruption they've been involved in, now this is just speculation, this is just a hunch, this is just a guess. Don't take my word for it. Think on your own. Is it possible that either A, Campos is who he says he is, disregarding the timeline, which we know is utter bullshit, but maybe he is a legitimate good person, and he was going to blow this thing wide open and let some truth out there. With that being said, is the possibility of him being swooped up and taken off somewhere so that he can't speak a word? Is that a possibility by the deep state and the shadow government with their operatives? Who knows? Who really does know? Or he could have been the one that was deeply involved in this, whether he was a shooter or not, and he's taken out for safety, hidden somewhere. But the FBI has their hands on Lombardo. Because I think he wants people to know what happened. I mean, he's pretty shooken up. He is in fear of something. That is a definite sign. Given his demeanor and posture when he gave the press conference on the 13th. They probably threatened him every which way from Sunday. Do not speak a word of spade. Stick with the script. Or else. That's probably most likely what has happened to Lombardo. So without a closing, keep your mind open. Look for the truth. Because we can do this together. I've seen a lot of people I've never seen before. On YouTube, on social media. Putting evidence out there. Who probably just an everyday sheeple. And said, you know what, enough is enough. I've got to do something. I got to get the word out there somehow. Residents who live in Las Vegas. Survivors. Now I'm going to stay on top of this and give you as much info as I can. If you have any tips, you will remain anonymous. I will not release who you are. Just what you send me. But you can send me tips at truthbusternews@gmail.com. And it could be related to this, or it could be something else that is going on that you have caught wind of through the grapevine, and you feel compelled somehow that people have to know. It could be on any topic. All I ask is that make sure that it's credible and can be backed up and proven. Either through a document, a news article, interview clip, whatever. Or is it somebody on the street you hear talking about it and they seem credible enough? Please send me information tips. I'll greatly appreciate it. But let's keep the hammer on this. And I will be covering other events because there's a lot more going on besides this. Thank you for tuning in. You can also find me on Twitter at TruthbusterNews, CJ. Hit my Twitter page. God bless. Be safe. Prepare for what is coming, because this isn't the end. This is just the beginning. God bless. Be safe and carry on.